At the last round of the Amsoil Grand National Cross Country Series, Kailub Russell withstood serious pressure from his teammate Charlie Mullins and rolled to victory. Now Mullins is suffering from an injury, and Russell wants to take control of the series. Racer TV is next. Hello everyone and welcome to NBCSN's coverage of the Amsoil Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis. It's an AMA National Championship. Storm clouds rolling into this Wiseco John Penton GNCC from the college town of Athens, Ohio. Kailub Russell is the home track favorite. You hear the crowd cheering for him. Josh Strang on the number 4, maybe the best man to knock him off of the top step today. Charlie Mullins is the only rider to beat Russell this year, and he is now out with a pair of broken wrists. So it could be the perfect homecoming day for Russell. You see him in the center of the screen of the number 1. We will be racing for 3 hours, so anything can happen, especially with those storm clouds up ahead. We'll also have highlights of our ATV racing later in the show. But for now, we're going racing on 2 wheels, the best of the business, firing into turn 1. XC1 Pro on row 1. You got a lot of the top amateurs and up-and-coming riders up next. Paul Whibley in blue and yellow grabs your All Balls Racing Whole Shot Award, but it looks like Stuart Baylor going to try to control it from there, and Kailub Russell also right in contention. But Baylor, it's Russell's young teammate, in the number 1 spot. And Baylor running the 2-stroke, one of the few in this division to do that. Bad start for Strang on the number 4. He is next to last. Actually, you know, a few riders even further back. He has Thad Duvall with him. And now Russell has grabbed the lead, and you can tell the fans are happy about this. Jordan Ashburn at the number 7, and Chris Bach 2nd and 3rd. Then it's Whibley. And Baylor, your early leader, has been pushed back. Must have made a mistake. Got Ryan Sipes, the ex-motocrosser, right behind him. But look at Russell trying to take control. Ashburn on the NFAB Ampro Yamaha, and the Rockstar Johnny Campbell Racing Honda of Bach 3rd. Then Whibley, Baylor, and Sipes. This is what cross-country racing is all about. You got the big water crossings, then you got to hop this ledge that is going to get so slick throughout the day, and then climb uphill. Oh, and it's caught. Baylor, great job of getting his weight on the back of the bike. Andrew DeLong here getting stuck on the white bike. That is the Husqvarna number 10. DeLong gonna have to take the long way around. That is like ice when you hit those banks on the end of the water crossings. And here is Strang, terrible start on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC Yamaha. We'll give you a couple rules of the road here. We run as many laps as we can in 3 hours. Generally for the bikes, it's 5 to 8 laps, depending on the lap times. And you're basically taking on every terrain possible. But what makes it most difficult is no practice or pre-running on these courses. The riders can look at the track on foot on Sunday morning only, on race day morning only. Those are the rules for the pro class. You've got to read the terrain and figure it out. And they do change these tracks every single year. Some of it will be similar. And obviously you can see Russell pretty comfortable here on lap 1. But you can kind of see the ground covering here. This is fresh terrain. So everyone is figuring it out for the first time as Ashburn and Bach fight it out for 2nd. Then you've got Baylor. Baylor, one of the up-and-coming talents of this series, but really struggling with a wrist injury from 2 years ago, has not come back around. And that 3rd hour, that thing has been bothering him. We'll see if he's able to hold on today. As for Russell, without Mullins here, kind of a strange scenario. Gnarly downhill section that is also freshly carved, a single track. That's all these guys need to worry about right now. They're not even thinking about the other riders. They just need to get through this downhill in one piece. Now, also interesting on this track, the Sunday Creek motocross course here in Ohio is weaved right in to the action. Russell and Ashburn showing what they can do on the moto track. Well, it is darn close at the end of the first lap. Chris Bach at the number 3 spot. He also has the leader in sight. Stay with us.
twins have notoriously been very hard on crankshafts because that big long stroke with those 2 cylinders just flexes the crankshaft around. So we were seeing bearing issues. Research development people at AMSOIL could show us that it was likely an oil problem. And they were correct. That was the issue. Instead of having to redesign the engine, I just had to do a better quality oil.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Battle is on here in the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. Kailub Russell, Jordan Ashburn, Chris Bach putting on a show for the fans here in Ohio. And a bad start for this guy, Josh Strang. He has overcome it. Now up to the number 4 position. Yeah, down here in the woods, fans come to life. Kailub Russell grew up on this land. His grandfather actually owns this motocross track. So he's obviously done time on that course, and I'm sure in these woods also, although again, we must say they cut new trail most of these years, so his growing up stage, maybe the soil is similar. But as far as knowing the track, everyone's got to learn it together. But there's no doubt the extra pull of the home fans are going to help Russell. And he looks good on this steep uphill. Nice job, feet up on the pegs. Look at the banners forcing the riders to take the steepest part. And Ashburn and Bach are running very well, with Charlie Mullins now out with a wrist injury. Actually, I should say wrist injuries. Whoa, watch out for that tree, Josh Strang. The question was who would step into the void and challenge for victories. Ashburn and Bach have answered it today. They're keeping them close. See the fans cheering, that's good stuff. And I really think that's going to make as big a difference as any for Russell on this day. I mean, when you're pushing through these rough conditions and you've got heat and humidity to deal with for 3 hours, every little bit of adrenaline helps. And these fans are going to help Russell get it. Best ride of the year, I'd say, so far for Bach here on the Honda. Big transition for that team. They were veterans of the Baja 500 and 1000. As we see Strang up to 4th, decided to put their eggs in the cross-country basket here on the East Coast this season. Bach's been at this for a couple of years, but the team is new, the bike is new to him, and it is a learn-as-they-go type of year. Best ride, like I said, we've seen so far from Low Ashburn. Now takes a look over his shoulder, opening it up just a little bit. What's fun about the Ashburn and Bach battles goes all the way back to the amateur days for those two. They used to fight in what was called the Open A class. A is one notch below professional. And they've locked horns a couple times as pros, too. I think they get along pretty well off the track, but they will give nothing to each other on the course. Although you got to back it down no matter who is in front of you on these steep downhills. Russell on the factory FMF KTM 350. Starting to open it up a little bit. And this is the famous mulch pile here. These big piles of mulch that they will throw onto the motocross track so that dirt absorbs the moisture a little bit better. But on cross-country day, you can see how black this soil gets. They run the riders right through the pile of mulch, and it is really rough and rutted. You see the foot off the peg for Ashburn and then bouncing through the rough stuff. Bach still chasing. By the way, Bach and Ashburn, probably the 2 tallest riders out here. And that helps him through these rough sections. Let's go back to Strang. He has struggled big time with the starts this year, which is kind of surprising because Ashburn and the other Yamaha rider, Paul Whibley, they nail the starts just about every week. But Strang is usually forced to come from behind, and I think if you took a survey with Mullins out, Strang would probably be voted most likely to go after Russell, but you can't do it with the terrible start. Russell starting to open it up a bit now. Got a chance to style it over this jump. No problem. Good job catching the backside, and he will log another lap here at Sunday Creek. You see the dirt is rock hard here. You have to prep things up differently for a cross-country race because you're going to have 3 hours of a couple hundred riders putting in laps. Can't bring the dozers out here and disc up the dirt, can't water it. So the riders got to deal with what Mother Nature throws out.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of tires, ATV and UTV accessories, and OEM parts, to our online chat, customer reviews, and instructional videos. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Racer TV is brought to you by Amsoil, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Going to give you the highlights of our ATV racing from the Wiseco John Penton GNCC. Jason Wygant, your host today. Chris Boric, your #1 plate holder and 5-time champ, under some heat in the series from Walker Fowler. He's an Ohio native, and he won previous round in a dramatic duel with Boric. And then there's the fun-loving Adam McGill, whose opening ceremony antics have become must-watch for GNCC fans. The guy showboats nearly as much on the racetrack. So we'll see how it turns out today. The ATV boys run it for 2 hours. Perfect conditions for racing as well. They've had it pretty good this year. No huge mudders for them. McGill is going to control the start. Twin Air and DeRisi Racing giving him some money. McGill is to see on the RacingPowersports.com. Pirate MX CST tires back machine. It's a Honda. Wow, Fowler is third. A rare good start for him on the Ampro FMF Yamaha. And you see the pair of yellow machines, Chris Bithell and Boric. Not good starts. They have some work to do. McGill. This would really be considered his home race. It's a West Virginia native, but from just on the other side of the river. And you can tell the people will be pumped on him getting a victory today. Fowler has climbed up to second. Bryson Neal, the #9, is third. These young kids keep breaking into the established ranks. Then it's Bithell on the #4. Maxis Suzuki, another Maxis Suzuki here at Boric, climbing forward. Everyone climbing literally. But they do not want to let McGill or Fowler get away, and Fowler has now taken the lead, and he is on the gas. McGill doing his best to keep him in sight. Let's see what kind of gap these two can open up. Looks like McGill reclaiming the lead from Fowler in this muddy section. But I think Fowler's okay with that as long as these two continue to roll, try to maintain the gap over Bithell here in third. And you know Chris Boric is coming. He's the 5-time champ for a reason, and he always saves his best stuff for late in the race. Here he is in fourth. Just gently picking his way through the water. You don't want to blast those hands with mud or water early on. You won't be able to hold on later. Out of the open stuff. McGill continues to lead Fowler. Both of these guys came through the ranks as top amateur riders. And a lot of people thought it would maybe be a matter of time before the #2 of Fowler became Chris Boric's stiffest challenger for a championship. This could be the year where he makes good on that promise. He's got the lead again. A couple of other riders working their way through. You see Neal, who's up front early, getting the power down to the ground. Jared McClure and Brian Wolf also in the hunt, trying to get some top 5s. These guys are really battling hard. That's that uphill we showed you earlier with the different lines. Some other riders choosing to get out of the way and make it an easier run at the top. Back up front, Fowler, well, he looks strong, starting to put some distance between himself and everyone else. Bithell now into second. He has gotten McGill. There's McGill, still third. And not the typical charge we'd expect to see from Boric, as Fowler pumps a fist. He's happy about this news. no one challenging him from behind yet. Onto the motocross track. Will he air out the double? Yes, and a little bit of a scrub. Hey, the checkered flag's coming out. Might as well celebrate when you win your home state race. And even better news for Fowler, mechanical troubles. Chris Bithell and Chris Borich will not finish this race. He not only takes the win, he will close to within 8 points of Borich for the series lead. Here are your AMSOIL results. McGill and McClure take advantage of bad luck for others. They're on the podium. Neal and Wolf in the top 5. We'll be back with our conclusion of dirt bike racing.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. It's homecoming day for Kailub Russell, and the fans are excited as he tries to take the victory at the Wiseco John Penton GNCC. It does a great job of getting that machine to hook up on these slippery uphills. Josh Strang, what a charge through lap traffic and other riders to move into second ahead of Jordan Ashburn, who was third, and Chris Bach, who is fourth. Ashburn and Bach had been 2 and 3 on the track for most of the day, but things have gotten crazy now. This gives you an idea of just how difficult this hill climb is. Amateur riders littered on top of it. Stuart Baylor picking a hole right through the middle. And really the speed is what normally impresses you in racing, but the technical skill of these guys, they don't get stuck on hills like this. That's what makes the XC1 Pro riders so impressive. And this guy might be the most impressive of all. Gonna be 1 lap to go for Russell, last year's GNCC champ. You had to anticipate a big championship fight between he and Mullins. But now that Charlie is out, woo! All he's got to do is keep it on 2 wheels. Sometimes that's harder than it looks. Still battling out on the motocross track, the rest of the field. Bach and Ashburn fighting for that final spot in the top 3. Ashburn goes down. Bach able to take advantage, Strang in that fight as well. And we hear that Paul Whibley is coming close also. Russell unaware of any of that. He just needs to pound the woods one more time. Can he handle the hill climb? See all those shiny spots? That is like ice. It's clay here in Ohio. Not easy to get traction. Here's Bach now rolling in the number 2 spot. And the Yamaha people cheering. They've got 2 riders in the hunt. Strang and Ashburn. Only one of those 3 is not going to make the podium. Bach does not have goggles on. Oh! Almost threw it away, a little dab of the foot. Now he's almost to the top. Look at this! Whoa, Ashburn almost ran into Strang, cutting across the front of him on that uphill. These 2 are pushing something fierce. Now Strang has made the move back around Ashburn. And have they gotten Bach as well? I think they have. Meanwhile, Russell continues to put on a clinic on the gas today. Had a brief challenge early from Ashburn and Bach, who's able to get away. Boy, a bike is blowing up right there on the track. And he's able to roll past all that in stride. You have the good lead in the last lap. You don't have to push it quite as much. Here is Strang, who has re-secured the number 2 spot. Ashburn right behind him. And now we hear that Bach has to battle with Whibley and also the XC2 class for young riders. Oh, Strang hung up behind lap traffic. Oh, Ashburn had a chance to take advantage. He got stuck as well. Here's Stuart Baylor in the hunt. And he gets stuck in the same spot. Baylor got the chainsaw going there, the two-stroke. Here's Bach. This section has become downright nasty. There's Whibley. Whibley able to negotiate at best. It has broken loose here on this last lap and a half or so. Still Ashburn and Strang, second and third. Russell is headed to victory out on the Sunday Creek motocross track. And he will retake the series points lead with it. It was nearly a dead heat between he and his teammate Mullins coming in. Mullins, also an Ohio native, has to be bummed about missing this one with the wrist injury. And it's in Russell's hands right now. And the folks that saw this kid grow up on this track have seen him grow up into a champion and a race winner. Kailub Russell has it after 3 hours of combat here in Ohio. Great job for your defending champ. Of course, he now makes his racing home and does all his training down in North Carolina. Doesn't get up into this neck of the woods very often. Got to be happy. Looks like Strang is going to win that knockdown drag-out duel with Ashburn for third. But Paul Whibley, where did Whibley come from? He is fourth, third in your picture, and making a run for it. On the uphill doubles, Whibley has a different line using the outside to close in on Ashburn. And he's showing his teammate a wheel, and you know he's hungry for it. The top three get to go on the podium, thank their sponsors, get their picture taken, shake the champagne. Whibley is fourth right now, but closing right in. Strang is cruising to second. Whibley runs it right in on his teammate, comes up short. And Ashburn, an exhausting effort, will finish third. And you look at the AMSOIL results for the XC1 Pro class. Also a shout out to Grant Baylor, Stewart's younger brother. He started in row 2, the XC2 class for 250s, and an adjusted time actually edging Strang for second overall on the day. Here's our AMSOIL race recap. Good start for Whibley, then he goes wide in turn 2, opens the door for Stuart Baylor and Russell, the KTM teammates. Then Baylor falters. Russell takes the lead. Ashburn and Bach, second and third, trying to apply the heat. But before long, the champ would get away on certainly some familiar ground, and it was a great homecoming ride for him. Then chaos in the last lap. Lap riders everywhere. Somehow Strang able to get to second ahead of Ashburn. Kailub Russell takes the win. The Yamaha riders battling to the end. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.